Hey guys, a very good evening from India. Before I start, firstly, I would like to thanks a lot besides Charlotte to organize this conference and the event during this pandemic when all of us are virtually connected. So huge shout outs to everyone who is involved in besides Charlotte to organize this event, and also thank you for giving me this opportunity, this platform to present my talk which is about shift left with DevSecOps scanning every single code change. Before I get into topic, a bit about myself. My name is Avinash Jain. You can find me on Twitter and Medium with handle as logic_1. I've been into InfoSec for past 5 years and so. Uh, I worked with various MNCs like Expedia. They are local Indian companies like Grofers, Make My Trip, and currently I am working as a security engineer in a startup which is called Cred. I'm a cybersecurity speaker, has been speaking in various conferences, meetups, talks, and on various InfoSec threads. I'm an active blogger. You can find me on Medium with handle as logic_1. I've been writing about lots of stuff that I do in my InfoSec journey. I have been doing a lot of bug bounty. I've been writing about a lot of vulnerabilities that I found during my journey, various topic about DevSecOps, Docker, and everything in InfoSec. I generally, in my free time, break stuff to learn. I don't want to call it bug bounty because I started this stuff to basically just to learn and grab new learnings and new technologies. So in my free time, I spend my time to break stuff, break bypass logics, break application logics, and get some vulnerabilities out of them. I've been recently featured in various magazines and editorials like Forbes magazine, BBC, TechCrunch. There are various Indian newspaper like Economist Times, Hindustan Times. I've been doing lots of research on data leakage, on data breaches, and finding various vulnerabilities in Google and other big platforms. I've been acknowledged by Google, NASA, Yahoo, European Sun government, US, and UK government as well, and also some top companies of India and outside India. So before we get into the depth of the topic, which is scanning every single code change, DevSecOps, let's first understand what is this shift left means. The first two word of the talk, which is basically shift left, what that exactly means. So I hope everyone must have seen red light in the traffic, which is turning red to stop the vehicles to cross the road. Also, you have seen rainbow during rainy and sunny season. Rainbow comes when they are seven colors, and you always see a red color coming at the end of the rainbow, which is with cure. So red is something which always comes at the end. Have you ever wondered why the red color is used to stop the cars? Or why only the red color is used in traffic light to stop the cars or to stop the vehicles? And why the red color always comes at the end of the rainbow? So the answer is basically, if I talk about scientific answer, red color has the largest wavelength. So anything, so because red color has the largest wavelength, it has a tendency to move away from the source. So as you come closer to the source, that is, as you come towards left side, that means you're bringing something close to the source, which is what shift left actually means. So whenever you are shifting to the right side, that is, you are going away from the source. And when you are shifting to the left side, that is means you are coming near to the source, which is what we mean by shift left. Now let's talk about what shift left means when we talk about DevSecOps and technology field. So shift left in technology basically means when you bring your process, when you bring, or in terms of security, if I would say, when you bring security testing, security checks close to the development process, close to the source from where the the future development is getting started. So shift left basically in security what means when you're shifting to close to the source of development, close to the source of release of future, or basically the discussion around features. So that what means by shift left in terms of technology. So instead of waiting for the security, at the end of the development cycle, you can include security checks or security testing within your developer workflows by bringing it closer to your developer's code, by bringing as much as early in your SDLC cycle. Uh, the reason why we are talking about here is that why we should bring security as close to the source, because doing security testing at the end of the cycle, or doing security testing and VAPT pen testing when the release is done, when when developers had coded the release, he has given to QA has done the QA testing, and then it comes to security testing. What actually happens is that when security team find any bug, they have to again, that bug has to again go back to developers. They have to again revise their code. They have to fix the vulnerability. It again go to QA again need to do QA testing, and then it again come to security testing for verifying that patch. So what actually happening here is that you are actually revising your SDLC cycle again. You are actually repeating the steps again. You are doubling your effort, and you are doubling your time. So your time and effort are getting replicated and getting again and again done. So this is the reason why we should not take security at the end of the cycle. A few slides after this, I will show you what impact from finance purpose and from business perspective this can cause to a company. And also, security should not be treated as an afterthought, because we don't want, when release has gone live, when it is gone to production, and then we are thinking about security, someone finding report and reporting vulnerabilities to the company, and then they are going about to fix it. The cost of fix always increases when you take anything considering after it has been done. This is the graph which effectively shows how your cost gets increased when you move security to the end of the cycle, or when you move security away from the source. So if you're moving security away from the source, that means you are bringing more of a corrective measure rather than preventive, rather than preventing security at the at its source itself, and do not allowing to get get developed. If you are bringing security close to the source, you're actually preventing the security from being arising before they are coded. So, and when you are moving away from the source, that is when you are bringing security at the end of the cycle. When you're bringing security and at the end of the zero cycle, you are actually moving away from the source, and you are again and again repeating the complete cycle. The cost of the fix is getting increased, because you are now spending your time and effort again to go and revise the code, again going to QA to do a QA test, and then again to come to security to re-verify the patch. So the complete process is getting again starting for you, and the cost of your fix is increasing as you're moving away from the source, when you take when you take security away from the source. So this is the impact, and these are the consequences that a security taking security away from the source can bring into the organization. And this is the main reason why we should not treat security as an afterthought, and why we should not bring security testings, VAPTs, all kind of pen testing when the release has gone live, or when the developer has coded the functionality. Now I will be talking about what exactly we are going to do in order to tackle this problem. Something which is called continuous GitHub code hacking. So this is the architecture which I will be going through again after a few slides. So this is the basic architecture of the tool that I have deployed in my organization, which basically has brought security checks during when developer are writing codes. So instead of waiting that developer has written the code, and then QA tests the QA for the QA, and then it is coming for security testing, what we have done is that we have brought security checks within the developers code platform. Whenever they are raising any PR, the security checks are getting performed, and getting performed, and then given to developers if there's any finding are found. So I will be coming to this architecture, how this architecture works, and what is the salary queue, backend app, what are the checks that tool perform for us, and what exactly G Shield works. G Shield is the tool name that we have developed, which is GitHub Shield. Now, how GitHub Shield is basically work is so GitHub provide a very a great feature of creating a GitHub app. So what we wanted is to basically bring security as close to the source. In order to do this well, the most logical part security can be checked are code reviews. Since at the time when we were implementing this, we didn't have a central pipeline to, so we thought of building our own tool which can listen to any new PR which has been raised. And then that is when we came across this feature of GitHub, which is called GitHub Apps. So GitHub Apps basically come with built-in webhooks where you can specify permissions. When you set up your GitHub app, you can select which repository you want it to access. Suppose you're creating a GitHub app that can write issues in a repository named Octet. So only that, so that particular app can only write to only that particular repository, no other repository. So we created a GitHub app which is known as G Shield. Now this G Shield, this GitHub app can be integrated with every repository of the company. You can even give access as much as you want. You can give read access to PR to this app so that this app can listen to every PR which is raised by the developer or by the engineer. You can give a comment permission to the app so that this app can have a ability to comment on your PRs. So you can also configure this app to listen to a pre-configured webhook URL. And this webhook URL is basically the heart of our tool, which is continuous GitHub hacking. What actually happens is that whenever any event is triggered, and when I talk about event, this is GitHub event. So whenever anyone raises any PR or any kind of event occurs in your GitHub, it sends an HTTP post request to the webhook, and this webhook can be used to update any trigger any CI build, or it can even deploy code to the production server, or it can update an issue tracker for you also. So this is the functionality this webhook can do. Again, webhook can update your external issue tracker, it can trigger CI builds, or it can even deploy your code to the production to your server. And this is where the modular approach of our code comes into picture. When I talk about modular, that means the code is a model in a way that the checks are independent of each other and they are highly customized. That means you can add as much of checks you want in your pipeline, in this particular tool. As much as security check that you want to add, you can add in a very modular way so that every check works independently. If any check failed or if any check not able to perform well, other checks can be can perform their ability to what they are coded. Now, having understood how GitHub app basically work, now I'll tell you the architecture that we have built using GitHub apps, which is G Shield for us. So how the architecture looks like is that now we have a G Shield, which is our GitHub app, which is continuously send the input received from GitHub events. So when anyone in the company raises an APR, the GitHub app listen to every PR, because we create a GitHub app which is integrated to all the repository of the company. So when anyone in the company raises any PR in any of the repository, this GitHub Shield, which is a GitHub app, listen to them. That is the PR event which anyone is raising. And now there's a backend app, which is a Python script that we have written. This backend app is listening to the events which are sent by G Shield, which is the event which G Shield received, which is a GitHub event, and then it is sent back to backend app. Now when backend app receive those events, backend app has the ability to perform security checks on the top of those PRs. So suppose someone in your company raise a PR and that PR contain a Docker file. The backend app, the G Shield, which is a GitHub app, receive that event. It send that event to the backend app. Backend app will receive the event, and because backend app is highly modular and customizable, we have written custom checks where it checks whether the PR actually contains a Docker file or not, and it checks and then it perform a Dockerfile linting on it. It performs various other checks, finding that if it is a Docker file, it checks whether what is a base image from where the container is getting built, and then we have our own security checks, like it checks the PR for hard-coded credentials when if anyone hard-coded any credential in the PR events, for which we are using Git Secret or AWS Lab. It also checks whether someone has mounted sensitive volume mount points in your Docker file. So the backend app is a Python script which basically scan your Docker file, find whether any of the sensitive host mount point is basically used in your Docker file, and just fail the build and basically just do not allow the engineer to merge the PR if any of those checks fail. It also perform a SAST, which is source application security testing. We are using SonarQube for it. And now at the end, Jenkins come into the picture. So how Jenkins is basically getting configured here is that when we are receiving PR onto the backend app, we need SonarQube to run on those pipeline on those code, and we created a pipeline Jenkins which basically triggers SonarQube to run on those repositories, generate a report for us, and send it to the to the PR as in commit. So what actually happens now is that anyone in the company raises any PR, GitHub should receive that event. That event goes to backend app, which is a Python script for us. The backend app scan the PR on the basis of securities that we have written, which are modular and highly customizable. We have written check with perform a Dockerfile linter. We have written a check which checks for sensitive volume mount point. We have written a check which checks whether is there any hard-coded credentials in your PR. We have written a check where it runs a SonarQube as an SAST for it on it, and also we check whether the base image which being used in a Docker file is actually a authorized official image. We have created a whitelist of our own Docker image, and that basically compare whether the from directory in the Docker file has the base image which is into a whitelist that we have created. And if any of those checks fail, it because the GitHub app has the ability to comment on the PR also. We have so when any of these checks fail, the GitHub app comments on a PR saying to the developer, just like we do code reviews. It basically leaves a comment saying that your checks is failed and you need to fix it before you get it merged. The GitHub app is also has the ability to do not allow the engineer to merge the PR until and unless all the checks are passed. So for now, because we don't want to create a hassle for developer, what we started with, and we are not blocking the PR, but we are commenting on the PRs saying that if your checks are failed, you need to fix it before we proceed ahead. So this is how the architecture looks like. And then we have a salary queue, which basically handles your multiple PR events that you're coming to G Sheet, because you have hundreds of developers in a company raising dozens of PR in a day, in an hour. So salary queue basically is a queuing system that queues your PR, and then backend app picks it one by one and parallelly as much work that you have given to salary queue. So this is how this G Sheet work for us. What are the I already spoken about it. So what are the capabilities that GitHub Code has is that it perform a SAS scanning, which is static application security testing using SonarQube. It can also perform DASH. For DASH, you can use OAuth open source tool, or you can build your own to perform a DASH scanning. It can also perform dependency scanning. Again, for dependency scanning, you can use OAuth or dependency scanner to find if there's any external dependencies in your PR event, and you can compare whether the versions are are outdated, whether it contains any CVE, or whether there's any high vulnerability or critical vulnerabilities in the dependencies that are used in your PR or in your code repository. We are also written a container scanning check, where it scan your Docker images for vulnerabilities. So you can use Mcore for it or Clear to run Docker scanning on the images. And then there's additional capabilities which we have using in the company, where it detects any secret which are getting leaked in the PR. It performs Dockerfile linter. We are using Hedolint, which is an open source tool to perform Dockerfile linting. And then it also check whether your Docker, which is getting built, is building from a secure, trusted, official base image that we consider as safe. So these are capabilities that this continuous GitHub code hacking can bring to you. And this is a sample how it looks like for us. So when anyone raises NPR, it triggers the G Sheet send it to backend app, backend app runs all the checks. And because GitHub app has the functionality to comment, it basically comment on the PR just like every human does during code reviews. So if you can see, this the PR doesn't have any secret in the PR, so it commented that there's no secret leak. It also gives you a full report of SonarQube, which basically a SAS scanning tool. And again, it perform a Docker linting on the Docker file, and then it comments that what are the checks your Docker file has failed. So this the sample how the GitHub. So how basically when anyone raised any PR in the company, how it looks like for them. What are the improvements? So it basically brings a lots of improvement for us, and also anyone who want to use it. Now because now we have brought down security checks at during when any developer or when any engineer is in the PR. So now instead of waiting, the PR is raised and then it is merged to dev branch, and then the code is deployed and QA, then the QA testing, and then security team is coming into picture. What we have done is that we have brought down security scanning as checks within within the code review. So whenever anyone raising the PR, your security checks are also getting performed as and when, then the result is posted on PR as a comment review. It is highly flexible. I've been saying that it is very modular. That means you can add as many checks as you want in your backend app. So we wrote multiple 4 5 checks to run whenever any PR is released, and you can even add more checks as you want going ahead. And it is completely automated. So till now, there's no manual work for security. Everything happens automatically. When anyone in the company raises an PR, the GitHub app runs, which is G Sheet for us. It triggers the backend app, and backend app runs all the security checks and perform and find the vulnerabilities and comment on the PR if it find any vulnerabilities in the PR. So the complete cycle is completely automated for us. So as a whole, what we have done is that we have brought security checks within the code reviews, which is basically we have shifted to the left side, and we are scanning every code change. That means we are scanning every PR which has been raised, every code change that been going into the production system. And instead of waiting at the end of the cycle, instead of waiting at the end when when the feature has gone live, or when the feature has been deployed to production, uh, we actually brought security close to the source, where we are doing security testing as and when the code is done. So for us, we are not following a method, the philosophy of security, treating security as an afterthought. We have done, we have brought down security checks within your close to the source, and doing everything, doing the code reviews itself. So these are the improvements which this particular app and particular tool brings to you. There are early checks. You can perform security checks within the code reviews. These are highly flexible, highly modular. That means you can write as many as checks you want, and they will run independently of each other. And it is completely automated. You don't need to wait for someone to raise the PR. Then the feature goes to production, and then you are doing that, doing the security testing. So everything is basically automated. So this is about the GitHub app, and because the theme of of the Bistro Charlotte is years of improvement, so I will take a couple of minutes to talk about what being how's been the year for me so far. What are the things that I learned, and what are the things that personally I achieved during this COVID and during the time when pandemic hit us. So again, to keep aside everything which is going around the world, to keep aside the negativity, the pandemic, which going around. I've been doing a lots of work on my personal growth. I've been researching about code patient data privacy. So, I recently, like a couple of weeks ago, I reported a bug to Indian government where they were leaking code patients' data details. So I helped them to patch it, and it is also covered on various on various newspaper. One of them is Economist Times, which is India's leading newspaper. During the pandemic, I started learning car driving because I think because being away from your workplace, you are actually getting more time to spend with your family or to spend on your own stuff. So I whenever I find time, I started I go for a long drive. That is how I now learning car driving, and I've been fortunate enough to spend good time with the family. I've been away from home for last 9 years or so, and it is like a blessing in disguise that I'm getting so much time to spend and enjoy with my family. So this is how has been year going for me. I hope you're also making full use of working from home, criteria, and also you're keeping yourself safe and learning new things and learning new habits, learning good habits to stay away from all the all of the things that is going around. So yeah, so this is about our talk, and this is about the years improvement for me. Thank you for being a patient listener. If you have any doubts, you can reach out to me on Twitter. My handle is logicpom_1. You can just drop me a DM, which is open. So you can drop me a DM. You can also email me if you want to shoot out a mail. My email ID is OLUS3. And again, you can, if you want to read about various infosec topics and also DevSecOps, continuous security, data breaches, I've been actively writing on Medium, which has been published on various platforms like BBC and Forbes and others giant. So you can obviously go to Medium and check out them. So this is from my side. Thanks a lot, guys, and I hope you will have a fantastic talks ahead in Bisha Charlotte. So here I say goodbye. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye bye.